Hey there, welcome to the archives. Happy Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Yeah. Um, Happy Mother's Day to all of especially to the single moms. I've been hearing more from single moms speaking out about the challenges of motherhood as a single person. Um, Happy Mother's Day to those moms who are raising children who were themselves never enough for their moms. Um, yeah, thank you to all of those who are sacrificing. Um, I just want to share some books. What the topic I wanted to talk about, I'm gonna leave for another day. Um, Happy Mother's Day to all the moms raising kids in war-torn countries, in conflict zones, and under oppression, in detention camps, in concentration camps, in Congo, in Haiti, um, in Palestine, in Sudan. I'm thinking about the moms in Ghana. Um, a lot of the moms in my life actually won't hear from me today just the way my life is set up right now. There is one I'm going to reach out to later. The single moms will probably hear from me. I read A Library. Nikki Giovanni, may she rest in peace. A Library. I've been thinking about the Librarian of Congress who was just fired, and the attack on black women who are getting fired. I heard somebody say yesterday there's a statistic where it's like out of all of the firings in the United States, about like 90% of them are black women. And if you're only catching on to this trend now, I mean, welcome. But we've been under attack for a very, very long time. Very, very long time, especially in the workplace. So I'm thinking about the moms who are also being laid off and getting fired. The library. A Library. Nikki Giovanni. It's illustrated by Erin K. Robinson. It's really bright and colorful, and it just shares her love for the library, and she has to rush to it, and all the different things that she loves about the library, how it's a free place to be in space, where you can cook, to be in love, just to read, to sail the dreams, just all the different reasons why she loves the library. And at the end, Nikki Giovanni writes about how Mrs. Long was her first librarian, and she would spend her summers in Knoxville, Tennessee, with her grandmother, and Mrs. Long was either from Kansas or Iowa. But Nikki Giovanni talks about how she was growing up when in the age of segregation, and so she could only read books, but they were not allowed in the Carnegie branch of the Lawson McGee Library, and so which was a colored section. And so she wanted to read other books as well too that were not in the colored section. And so Mrs. Long would walk back and forth, would go to the main library and get books for her that Nikki Giovanni didn't have access to because she was a colored girl, a black girl. And so yeah, just a love for librarians. I'm thinking about all the library moms today as well too. Speaking of mothers, grandmas are my favorite. I don't know if you can see. Granny's Kitchen. We've read this before. I got it again. This is from Sade Smith. It's illustrated by Ken Daly. And it's a really, again, the illustrations are adorable. They're beautiful illustrations. Beautiful, beautiful little black girl. Little Jamaican girl. And her grandmother teaches her how to cook different foods. Specifically, she's learning how to make a pinch of salt. she's learning how to make food, but it just doesn't turn out well. It doesn't turn out the way her granny teaches her. The plantain's a little bit too rough. But eventually Shelly Ann and her grandmother work out, and she just learns how to read. They do the dumplings and ackee and saltfish, and plantains, and finally she learns how to do it. It's really cute. At the back it has fun facts about Jamaica. I feel like if I wasn't Ghanaian, I'd probably be Jamaican in another lifetime. Or Zulu. It talks about their national flag, out of many, one people, which is their national motto. Jamaica, land we love, their national anthem. It talks about ackee and saltfish, which is their national dish. It tells you I love the geography. The capital city is Kingston. The national bird is called the doctor bird. The national fruit is ackee. And so lignum vitae is a national flower. And so, yeah, this is a really good book as well, too, honoring the grandmothers out there today. And then it has Granny's recipes at the back. You can't see it, but it has fried or boiled dumplings, ackee, there's saltfish, fried plantain, plantain for those of us who say plantain. Yeah, so Granny's Kitchen by Sade Smith. This is long. 6 minutes. A Year of Black Joy. I haven't read this one yet, but we're gonna do it. There's a scientist, Dr. Raven Baxter, Vanessa Nakate, David Lammy, David Lingo, so many people. Patrice Lawrence, Andy Oliver. So it's a year of Black joy. Black voices share their life passions. It's curated by Jamia Wilson, illustrated by Jade Orlando. So we haven't read this one yet, but I'm going to take a look at that. I already talked Wangari's Tree of Peace. Word up to Wangari Maathai of Kenya's Greenbelt Movement. This one was one of the shares by Sade and Nadia Hon. They did a live book shares to read for Earth Day, so this was one of them. Wangari's Tree of Peace. And then the last one I'll share is Sweet People Are Everywhere by Alice Walker. One of my favorite Aquarius girls. Well, she's a woman, she's a grown-ass woman, but and it's illustrated by Quim Torres. I haven't read this one yet, so I'm looking forward to reading it. Sweet People Are Everywhere. So that's Alice Walker. So that's all I'll share for today. I'll be back here. I want to talk about, I watched Raisin in the Sun, so I'm thinking about dreams, specifically dreams deferred. We're seeing so many people's dreams being deferred all over the world, right? People are just all over the world. A lot of dreams are being deferred, specifically in the Black community, so I want to talk about that a little bit next time. I was going to talk about it today, but it's Mother's Day. I'm going to leave it there. It's 8 minutes. So, yeah, I'm just over here manifesting or mastering the art of detachment. The art of detachment, which is what I also going to do a post about how when certain things are imposed on you, think about how isolation is a form of weaponization, right? Even when people are jailed. Solitary confinement is used as a weapon because people know that when you're disconnected from people, when you're disconnected from community, when you're isolated, it will make you go crazy, right? And so I'm thinking a lot about what it means when you've been pushed into isolation, when you've been rejected, when people have said, you're not good enough for community, you're not good enough for us. Specifically, again, I'm thinking about the daughters who have never been worthy of their mother's loves. When you have grown up begging to be loved, right? And not to say that you're perfect or you haven't made your own mistakes and you haven't made your bed, right? I talk a lot about like, okay, I made my bed, I'm gonna lie in it. So yes, there's accountability for that, but I'm also thinking about how forces among us will also use isolation as a tool to fragment us, but also to make us go crazy, right? Which has happened, and I've kind of gone past, like, I don't know if I've gone past that, but I'm thinking about what it looks like to be okay with whatever, I don't know. And that's not to say you don't resist, right? Resistance is always there, but I think sometimes until you have an exit strategy, and I talked about this in one of my last posts I took down because I just was like, it was too controversial and it was just messy. But when you're being held captive or under a state of you're being pressed, right? The oppression. What does it look like when you're just like, okay? And I'm thinking specifically of, anyways, that's all I'm gonna say for now. So happy Sunday, happy Mother's Day. It's a hard day. I'm thinking about those who also have lost their moms. Those whose moms are still alive, but they're in no contact with their moms. Yeah, thank you. Thank you to all the moms, the caregivers, the, what was that word? The nannies that are raising other people's children while someone else is raising their own kids. Moms who were sick and or dying. Yeah.